Good afternoon. What's happening? What's going on? What it do on this rainy Monday afternoon? You know what it is. You know what day it is. It's Mad Monday with the OG. We're not gonna keep y'all too long, but we're gonna just talk about a few happenings and a few possibilities and a few conversations and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It seems to be everybody wants to. You know how this Falcon fan base do when somebody gets cut. They think we should go sign them. You know what I'm saying? That Jair Alexander getting cut by the Packers, and you know, and A Rod to Pittsburgh. We're gonna get in a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? Have a little bit of NBA talk as well. You know, just a little bit. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Hope everything is going all well, all good with everybody. Um, yeah, just to start the week, NBA wise. Um, it's gonna be interesting. This series is not gonna go the way people are think it's gonna go, man. We headed back to Indiana with the series tied 1-1. Indiana stole one in in OKC. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Indiana stole one. They stole one, and I'm just saying, people are pretty, prisoners of the moment. But you have to understand, it's a 7 game series. But the difference here is, I saw everybody, putting all their money in the hat, what I'm saying, for OKC. Here's what I think is the difference in this series with these teams. Yes, OKC is playing some great defense, what I'm saying, going through these playoffs. But when you talk about under the bright lights, when you're talking about on the big stage, the NBA Finals, Indiana has two things that OKC don't. They have playoff and championship experience at the head coach. They have playoff and championship experience in their personnel as a player in Pascal Siakam. And I think that's going to be the major difference in this series. You know, um, just to put that out there, just to pique the interest, just to open the eyes a little bit, and everybody, look, I'm not taking anything away from the talent that's on that team for OKC. I'm not, but experience, especially championship experience, counts for a lot. Okay, it counts for a lot, and I think it's going to continue to rear its head the rest of this series. You going back to Indiana and it's tied up 1-1. Okay, I'm just saying the stage is getting a little bit brighter. It's getting a little bit bigger. It's getting a little bit hotter. You know what I'm saying? And these youngsters in OKC, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna start the way on. They was able to bounce back in game two a little bit, but you got to go into it. And I know you was probably expecting being able to, thinking about being able to go to Indy, what I'm saying, up 2-0. It ain't up 2-0. Y'all tied. And it's kind of this, and with all of the odds makers, what I'm saying, putting all their money, predicting a sweep and all this. All right. Y'all better stop counting these eggs before they hatch. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That game one loss, what I'm saying, was what I'm saying, was a punch in the mouth. What I'm saying? It gave him a standing 8 count. Just saying. Just saying, man. Just saying why. You know, what I'm saying? But hey, it, it's gonna be interesting to watch going the rest of the way. Now, is also in NFL, um, NFL talking NFL transactions going on. The Green Bay Packers have decided to part ways with Jair Alexander. And I'm quite sure all of y'all know it because typical of this fan base. They're on the we need to sign him. We should sign him. We should pick him up. Look, man. Everybody that why. Not saying this kid is not a good cornerback and he wouldn't be a good addition, but y'all had to stop with that. Thinking that everybody's garbage will be our game. You know, I'm just saying. I mean, does it look like? Does it look like? And when you're looking at what we have on paper, you don't think there's enough talent on this defense on the back end? You know, with what we have and what we picked and what we signed. Just saying, you know, sometimes you have to think about the groceries you already have when you're getting ready to cook instead of always wanting to run out to run out to the stove, thinking you need something, you know. And that's just my point of thought of emphasis on that a little bit. Um, you know, for what's going on with that little particular factoid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, one, we don't have the money. We don't have a whole lot of money, and then what money we do have, um, we're saying we have our own agenda for the things that what we're going forward and going to be doing. You know what I'm saying? You know, people got to recognize that you know our money is our money. It ain't got to necessarily be everybody's money. You know, um, it should, and it also them making that move. It may seem cost effective, but I mean, the Packers knew it was going to come to this point. They should have found a way to move him 2 years ago. To be quite honest, and now you're cutting ties with him, and you're not getting anything in return. That's not good business. That's not smart business. You know, just saying. For the Packers situation, you know, it's relatively retarded if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's that kid's a top tier corner, top 5, top 10, top 6, top 7 corner in this league right now. You know, just looking at. I mean, you couldn't find a way to work something out. You know what I'm saying, to keep that dude, and you knew you wasn't gonna pay him market value. You should have made a move on him. You know what I'm saying, during the draft or sometime before last season started. Just saying, you're not doing you wasn't doing good business. That's just my thoughts on it. you know, um, it what I mean. It makes it makes no particular sense to me. To lose a player and not get anything in return, especially a good player. You know what I mean? It makes entirely no sense at all to me. Money wise, system wise, you know, moving forward, going forward like that. It don't make any sense. You know, I mean, but hey, that's their problem. It is what it is. You know. Now, speaking of problems, there's a very large problem here in the ATL in Braves country. You know, the fact that Brian Snickers is still employed as the Atlanta Braves manager at this particular point in time, and we're losing games, and the way we're losing games is just it's sad. It's just sad. It's just sad. And the way we're losing games, it's sad. It really is. Hey, Christian, what's going on? Jamal, what's good? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's sad. You know, not not in particular strategically good. You know, bullpen usage, and what was it last week? Where you ran that old arm closer that Iglesias out there 7 straight times, and he gave up a run and winning runs all 7 times. And you losing series, losing games at home the way you're losing, and you come out of that and we still don't make a move. I mean, look, I'm sorry, you got Walt Weiss sitting right there next to you. You got Chipper Jones upstairs. You got Greg Maddox, Tom. You know what I'm saying? Bruce Benedict still in the system. You have other options instead of this stupid mofo. You know, us winning the chip was a blessing and a curse. Us winning is the reason why we still got that motherfucker as the general manager, as the skipper of the Braves. You know, it's bad right now, and it's not gonna get any better. Obviously, it's not. We're losing whole series. It's just the bats put up 5 runs, and then bullpen gives up 6. Just saying, it's crazy. Xavier, what's going on, man? You know what I mean? It's crazy. That man should have been fired last month. To be honest, when we got off to the start that we got off to, he should have been fired at the 6-13 mark. When we were 6-13, he should have been fired then. When we was on that 8-game losing streak, he should have been fired then. You know, I mean, but hey, you know what I'm saying? We can only wish for, you know what I'm saying, a pot of gold at the end on the other side end of this rainbow. But, you know, wishful thinking is just that, wishful thinking. You know what I mean? You know, I'd like to welcome in everybody that's tuning in. Hit that like button for me. Like, share, and subscribe to Mr. White Network. And I'll be saying the same thing about a current network that's under construction right now. In getting things situated, Sports T Network. Yeah, we doing some things over here. You know, expanding, progressing. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm feeling kind of bad and mad about my Braves in the way we look and the way we're losing, and you know, ownership and management is not doing anything about it. You know, I mean, but hey, we can only hope and wish. We can only hope and wish, man. You know what I'm saying? Uh, well. If you not been living up under, if you ain't been living up under a rock, you know that Aaron Rodgers is now a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep, that bullshit happened. Yep, that happened. That 45, 46-year-old guy, Mike Tomlin's friend, um, I mean, to me, this is a case of, amplifying one dumb decision, what I'm saying, with another. You know, low key, it's been internal infighting since the night of the draft. Um, Mike Tomlin had his mind, heart, and brain set on Shadur Sanders. It was no secret that was one of the better interviews and sit down. The team that interviewed him and sat down and talked to him and whatnot. And Tomlin had nothing but high marks, high praise for the young man, and it was pretty much a wrap. It was pretty much a done deal, And as far as Tomlin was concerned, yeah, it was gonna be his quarterback. Call came from up top. They skipped past him, not once, not twice, not three times, not four times. From the 5 times they looked past him. And yeah, it's been internal infighting about that since that. Then you turn around to appease him, and you bring in his good friend and homeboy and longtime compadre Aaron Rodgers. And Jamal, yeah, I know you did say it. You did, all right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but this. I'm hoping for the best for Tomlin, but I think Tomlin is going to follow the same outcome as old boy in New York did. Because this is the draft hangover, the draft miscue, the draft ignorance led to this. Them signing Aaron Rodgers. It makes. I mean, do y'all really think that he can play some decent football at what 45, 46? What? How about he's 40 something? You know, I just. I mean, coming off an Achilles tear. You didn't look particularly well in New York. You cost the person their job up there. You wrecked the locker room. You know what I'm saying? This it wasn't a good experience. Neither was the last 3 years in Green Bay with him. It was not a good experience. Now, the Steelers are, coming off you move Pickens to Dallas. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too sure about the comparable weapons that are up there. I know they got Najee Harris at running back, somewhat of a pretty good offensive line. You have a pretty decent, adequate, very good defense. But how long is that defense is going to be able to hold? Because if he performed like he performed in New York, man, I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. This move, this pickup, it makes entirely no sense. No sense to me at all. Because quite honestly, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to cost Tomlin his job. I'm not wishing it, but I mean, but the things that have happened the past 5 years with Aaron Rodgers doesn't point to anything else. And this man is peeking around the corner at 50, and you think he's finna be playing some productive, relevant football at quarterback in the NFL in that division? I mean, I just want to be accurate. Can somebody tell me exactly how old Aaron Rodgers is? 46, 40, what, 40, 46, 45, 46? How old is he? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. And then you coming off an Achilles tear at that. You know what I mean? This makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me. You know, you go and sign a quarterback that's what, 45, 46 years old, in one of the most physical divisions in football in the AFC North, and you really think he's gonna have a positive impact? I mean, let's take into account everything there is about. Let's unwrap this. You know, with Aaron Rodgers, we all know he has an ego the size of Jupiter. Okay, we all know this. It is a known fact. He's been disruptive in the locker room from his last 3 years in Green Bay to these 2 years in New York. I'm just saying. I mean, what has happened to make anybody think that anything positive is going to happen with him at the quarterback position for the Pittsburgh Steelers? With all that has happened, you know, say the last 5 seasons with him, you know, under center at quarterback between Green Bay and New York. And I mean, y'all really think that he's gonna come into Pittsburgh and is gonna change? I mean, does I mean that's the thing that I'm saying, Mr. Knight. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. This is not gonna come to a good end. Nothing good will come from Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback in Pittsburgh. You know, I mean, really. I don't see anything of a good nature. And again, how old is Aaron Rodgers? 45, 46, 47? I mean, how old is this dude? I mean, for real though, and coming off the injuries that he's coming off of, and you really think that something good is going to, you know, something good is going to come out of this being your starting quarterback? You know, you know, and then on top of that, you pairing him and Arthur Smith. You know, yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing, Mr. Knight. That's the thing. That's been the internal infighting point right there. Right there. Because Tomlin had his heart set on Shador. You know what I'm saying? And you had multiple chances to get, you know what I'm saying, a good young quarterback, and you didn't. And you didn't. You passed on Shador 5 times. You know what I'm saying? He about to be 43. All right, okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but even still, when you like you, 2 plays into your first year in New York, you tear your Achilles. All right, and then last season, what happens? You get the coach fired. I mean, you know, the offense did not look good at all. And don't say you can't say anything about he didn't have any weapons or this, that, and the third because there's talent on that offense. You know what I'm saying? You had a good set of receivers. You know that offense did not look good at all. It didn't look good at all, man. And y'all really think he gonna come in that division that he gonna come in and change life for the better? Are you kidding me? I just it is absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm not wishing, you know. I mean, but just based on what has happened the last 5 years with Aaron Rodgers, he gonna cost Mike Tomlin his job. He is. I mean, you know, he gonna. And you really think he gonna, you know, there's gonna it is not gonna be any tension between him and Arthur Smith? Yeah. You gonna come there and try to change that man whole scheme up, you know, because you want the ball, you know, in your hands. You want to throw the ball 45, 50 times a game, and that's not Arthur Smith, and it's not. And you in an offensive locker room full of guys half your age, full of guys half your age. And you really think any of them gonna be trying to listen to some of the shit you're gonna be trying to be talking? Because from what some of them guys up in New York was saying up there in that locker room about him, okay, all right, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Especially with that being TJ's locker room, and on top of that, ooh, ooh, he coming in and at 43, and then you ain't putting up no points. You know what I'm saying? You ain't sustaining no drives. You know, I'm just saying, man. For what's going to be, and that is a bona fide fact right there. That is my whole entire point right there. Aaron Rodgers is not that guy. He hasn't been that guy in 6 years. He hasn't been that guy in 6 years since that last NFC title game that he was in with Green Bay. He hasn't been that guy in 6 years, man. You add in age. You add in injury. And I don't think that arm of his, and he had Aaron Rodgers did at one point have one of the better, you know what I'm saying, with greater, if not greatest arms in the league at one point. He don't got that no more, man. He ain't that guy. He can't. No. And I made that point as well. His ego, which is the size of Jupiter, you know what I'm saying, which was also part of the problem in New York. He turned a lot of guys in that locker room off with it, his arrogance, the way he talked to folk. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is going to be a bad situation, man. I really do believe. You know, I don't think. No, he was not. He was not. He was no, sir. No, Michael. No, he was not. No, he was not. No, sir. The numbers and the records speak or say otherwise. He was good where? Getting on folks' nerves, dividing the locker room. I'm just saying. You know what that seemed to be the only thing he was good at, being a divisive cancer in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? I don't see anything good coming from this situation. I really don't. You several steps slower. You really don't have the arm power that you used, the arm power, you know what I'm saying, that you had 5 years ago. You're not, he is not that dude. And what was the record? What was the record? You got most of them that was, you know what I'm saying, at garbage points. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you right now, at least 15 of them touchdowns were late games, and when the game was already out of hand. But I mean, you know, if you cool with that, then you know what I'm saying? All right, okay. If you cool with that, see, you know, it's. I'm just saying. I can point to at least 15 of them touchdowns being in a late game situation where the game was already out of hand. The game was already lost. Okay, you know what I mean? But I mean, you know, hey, if you think so, but again, in that division, then with the schedule that they got, all right, you really think that the Aaron Rodgers is gonna be some kind of relevant? All right, okay. Right. You walk in there and try to turn it into his locker room, and we're gonna see exactly how well that's gonna work out. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm not wishing for stuff to go bad for Tomlin in this here situation, but this is one decision. This is one, you know what I'm saying, move that I just, you know, but hey, look, all I'm saying is at 43 years old, several steps slower, which means that your eyesight and your hand-eye coordination is several blinks slower as well. But you know, we gonna see. We definitely gonna see. You know what I mean? We definitely gonna see. I mean, you know, DK by himself ain't going. That's not just the answer. That's not just the answer. You know, I mean, but we're gonna see, man. We're definitely gonna see. We're definitely gonna see. I mean, you know, you know, A-Rod to DK, you know what I'm saying? It sounds good. It looks good on paper, but we're talking about a 43-year-old quarterback who's lost a little bit of zip on his ball and lost several steps as well. And you know, Browns and those defenses, you know what I'm saying, in that division, no matter what you think, are still NFL defenses. And you have some defensive monsters, you know, in that division. You know what I'm saying? You know, you one hit away from, being in the tent with your helmet on the side, and somebody standing in front of you with a small flashlight and asking you what day it is and where you at and what year it is. I'm just saying. But we gonna see. Yeah, because it's y'all don't forget he did take some shots last year as well. You know, and if you want to place that, let's just put it to you this way. Since you're saying the Jets are always messing up, and he got the coach fired, and the defense. He got the coach fired, and the defense went downhill as a result. Okay, and you know what I'm saying, and the offense didn't look all that. Wasn't no world beater in itself. Like I said, I can count 15 of them 28 touchdowns were in garbage time, late game situation where the game was already out of hand and lost. If you want to put some context on those 28 touchdowns, in 3,900 yards, I'm just saying. I'm just saying we got to look at it for the reality for what the reality is. Bruh, man, okay, and DK ain't Wilson either. I mean, why you trying to throw shade on that young man? I mean, but it's obvious. It's obvious where your allegiance lies. So I'm not gonna, you know, mm, you know what I'm saying. I mean, you. What was the result when he got his homeboy over there? When they got Devontae, you know what I'm saying, into that. The offense really didn't get no better. And you think things are gonna change just because DK is in Pittsburgh with him? Okay, all right. If you say so, if you say so, I mean, you know, I still, what I'm saying, can count several receivers that are much better and produce relevant numbers and instrumental to wins But I mean, what I'm saying, like I said, it's obvious to see where your allegiance is as opposed to reality, you know. But we had a 43-year-old quarterback coming off of, what I'm saying, that's got a leg and a half, and it's lost zip on the ball, but you're predicating your stance on 28 touchdowns that he threw, and I can count 15 of them were late game situations where the ball game was already out of hand, of to no relevance, But I, okay. Like I said, we gonna see. We gonna see. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, two they're in that division in the AFC North. All right, Okay, we gonna see. You're basing your stance on a 43-year-old quarterback in one of the most physical divisions in football. What they should have done is made a very smart draft decision. Is what they should have done. You had several quarterbacks, including Shadur, that you could have what I'm saying, went and got, but you chose not to. With the draft hangover, which led to you signing a 43-year-old guy with a leg and a half. And the ego the size of Jupiter. I mean, what is? Let me ask you something. What has happened in the last 5 years with Aaron Rodgers that has you to believe he gonna come to Pittsburgh and change life? You know what I'm saying? I'm not answering no Kirk Cousins question. I don't, because I give two shits about Kirk Cousins. Okay, Kirk wasn't even in this conversation with me. They get this guy instead of trading, instead of drafting. What I'm saying, your quarterback. You had you had three quarterbacks that you passed on, all right, several times in the draft, which is the reason why what I'm saying, Tomlin and ownership and front office are at odds right now. But you make one dumb decision, which was a draft, and then you amplify it with another dumb decision by signing an egotistical locker room counsel who has done exactly zilch in the last 5 years. And you actually think he's gonna come to Pittsburgh and change life? Yeah, the key word in that sentence there, young man, was he was he was a gunslinger. He ain't a gunslinger now, bro. He's not. He's an egotistical locker room cancer, and the evidence is of the last 3 years in Green Bay and these 2 years in New York. Come on, man. Reality is a medicine that a lot of people do not like to drink. And that's just the truth. This I'm not wishing this and I'm not hoping this. I'm just looking at it from the reality of the situation of what and who Aaron Rodgers is. He is going to cost Mike Tomlin his job, just like he cost old boy his job in New York. I mean, but hey, Baker Mayfield is not over 40. I mean, truth be told, as much as I don't like Baker, simply because he's in my division and he's in Tampa, that's the only reason. But Baker Mayfield is played better football than Aaron Rodgers, especially over the last 3 years. And I don't see him as being anything like Aaron Rodgers. And the guys in that locker room can attest to that. Nobody hates Baker Mayfield in that locker room. The last two locker rooms Aaron Rodgers has been in, when you ask anybody to speak on Aaron Rodgers, okay, all right, bet. I mean, but hey, like I said, it's understandable. You're taking your allegiant flag in the yard of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, hey, more power to you, my guy. More power to you. I don't see it. I don't see this coming to any good end. I just don't. I don't. Aaron Rodgers was a good quarterback. He was a good gunslinger. Yeah, bruh, 43 years old. 43 years old with a leg and a half. All right. Okay. If that's what you're, you know what I'm saying, staking your season on with the Steelers. All right, bet it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, but hey, you you can only hope. You know, saying who should they have signed? Who should they have signed? I mean, it could have been anybody other than that locker room council. I mean, bro, you're blindly, purposely ignoring the blaring negative red flags of Aaron Rodgers over the last 5 seasons. What I mean, the better question is, I'm still waiting on the answer. What has happened with Aaron Rodgers the last 5 years that makes you think he's gonna come to Pittsburgh and change life on that team in the AFC North? That's the real question. That's the real question. I mean, you're making out like he's the best and only option, the best option. But what has happened with him over the last 5 years that makes him the best option for Pittsburgh? And just realistically putting it out and asking. All right, if that's what you believe, then hey, say no more. Say no more. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That's what and who you riding with. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it is what it is. Tactician, what you say? Aaron is not going to save Pittsburgh. Facts. That's the point that I'm trying to make. No, It's Mike Tomlin. It's Mike Tomlin. He gonna cost Mike Tomlin his job. Watch what I tell you. He gonna cost Mike Tomlin his job, man. Yeah, and that is the reality. That is the reality. I mean, but yeah, shit, right now, and by association, I mean, you know what I'm saying, with that, by association, hell, it costing Mike Tomlin the job, it's costing the whole staff, really. I mean, but that's been what's been in Aaron Rodgers' weight. I mean, it was just Green Bay, was smart enough to have a backup plan already in place and already set and ready to go to be able to, tell him to kick rocks. You know what I'm saying? The Jets, you put a nuclear bomb in an already bad situation in the Jets, and you got exactly what you got over there. Now you finna take same said nuclear bomb and put it in a halfway salvageable situation, and you finna blow everything up. It's gonna be scorched earth, and I don't mean that in a good way. I mean, but hey, like I said, you're staking your winner flag on Aaron Rodgers to change life in Pittsburgh in that division. I good luck. We'll be revisiting this at mid-season. I promise you, I already got it set in my notes. We will be revisiting this. We definitely will be revisiting this, But hey, I I appreciate everybody for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're not subscribed to Mr. White Network, please do. If you like the conversation, you like the dialogue, you know what I'm saying? You like the topics, tell a friend, tell a homie, tell a fan, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to Mr. White Network, share it out, you know. Yeah, I'm in this thing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mad Monday with the OG, Week Win Sports T, Falcon Friday, Madness, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we do, this is how we do it when we do it, you know what I'm saying? Unholy Alliance style, you know. Um, shoot, yeah. So rest of the guys will be coming up tonight, you know what I'm saying, giving you some good stuff. I know Truth got a little something coming on tonight. I think, you know what I'm saying, the Senator and K Styles gonna be doing something probably tonight as well. Y'all tune in, man. My network, 6 Man K Styles, Big Truth, you know, and get your feel in. But hey, you know what I'm saying? Like I always tell you, you gotta keep it A. You gotta keep it dirty, and most of you gotta keep it real with yourself. Let your next choice be your best choice, ladies and gentlemen. And with that being said, it's the OG, aka Mr. Y. And hey, y'all have a blessed evening, a safe evening. You ain't got to be out there in that rain. Stay in, stay safe. And I'm out.